All right, there we go. Oh, so as we get things started and make sure we get our prep and everything where we need to go, how are you feeling
I am
about
feeling
the
great.
world of sports? Yeah, how are you doing first? Sorry, excuse me. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Oh man, I can't complain, man. I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. How about you?
Oh man. Well, besides getting on kind of late here, with some baby drama, I'm doing pretty good.
So, what's the sports? What's
What's the
the
lowdown?
headlines? What's the lowdown? What's the 911? What's the 411?
Oh, so we're basically just going to cover a little bit of everything tonight. College world's pretty good. Obviously, NBA is still early, but we'll kind of see how that is. Obviously, we got a huge weekend for NFL playoffs. I'm pretty stoked about that. Not just for Miami's sake, but for everyone else here. I'm pretty sure he is ready to go.
Question is, so you think you know sports?
You know. All right. Here we go. Boom. Oh, wait. We might be able to fix this a little bit. That's better.
Oh, haircut, awesome.
Looking fresh. Oh, I think I'm going to switch this up here. Give us a little more life. Here we go. So, here we are on another edition of Saturday Night Sports. We got our man CJ back this week. Well, shit. Excuse my language. Everyone's back this week. It was just a solo me last week. So it's good to have everyone back. Obviously, excluding Ace, he is having a wonderful vacation down there in Florida. I hate you. Oh, sorry. Had something in my throat. But it is what it is. We got Albatross. We got the hog side in tonight. We're doing good. We're doing good. So
I'm ready.
let's just jump right into the fun. College sports. So right off the get-go, breaking news from the college world, I should say. This is kind of a little bit of both. We got offensive coordinator for Alabama taking the head coaching job at Texas.
Texas State.
I can't exactly remember the dude's first name for sure. If you know that, please, by all means, let me know. I can't remember the dude's name. But this was more my biggest thing. We got Urban Myers rumored to be taking the job in Jacksonville. Just huge.
Yeah,
Huge.
very huge.
That's crazy. I didn't know if we'd ever see Urban Myers, at the pro level. But here's my thing about it. And as much as it hurts me at times to talk about Urban Myers on how he left Florida and pretty much said he didn't want to coach anymore, and the next thing you know, he popped up at Ohio State, and then he left there, and now he's going to pop into the pros. He's smart. At least he's smart in understanding a good situation, first of all, and understanding when things are pretty much done. Like, he can't do anything more. Don't ruin my reputation. I'm getting out the door. I'll see you later. That's kind of the narrative that I'm seeing start to form with Urban Myers.
Right.
There's Albatross. I think it's a smart move, really. I mean, if you look at what's going on, you have Urban Myers obviously going down there. If he does take that job, they're, from what I'm hearing, going to take Trevor Lawrence first. You get a potential, generational talent at quarterback. And me and Albatross were talking about this yesterday. Jacksonville might have been today. Jacksonville, for whatever, they know how to draft linebackers. They always have good linebackers.
Do they really?
They might not be like elite, but they're not the worst part of the team.
Yeah. They've always been able to draft these hidden gems, so you might say,
Right.
and With Urban Myers coming in and with Jay Gruden still at the offensive coordinator position, things are looking very good in Jacksonville. It seems like now the Cons are finally starting to be an owner. So
Uh-oh. He said the O word. But let's maintain it back to the good stuff here. Right off the bat in college sports, we had an ISU win, Fiesta Bowl champs. Looking good. I watched a little bit of it. I was trying to look at Penei Sewell. Is that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to pay attention to him. The dude, he's a physical monster, really sturdy guy. Not going to get beat. He's not one of those guys technique-wise that you're just going to go up to and just monster out of the way. It's not going to happen. Very technically sound guy. On the other side, I was very impressed with Brock Purdy. The dude making good plays, just all game long. He wasn't making the bad plays. He's making the good plays, protecting the football, looking for his guys. If they're not there, making plays with his legs. I'd love to see it. What do you got?
I couldn't quite hear you there at the end because you were breaking up. But overall, I thought Brock played smart within the game. He was 20 for 29. He had a rushing touchdown and then one throwing touchdown. The throwing touchdown was a smart read. He caught the broken coverage in the back of the end zone, and yes. Collier ran a really good route. Collier, being a third-team All-American, it's not necessarily something to write home about, but it's not necessarily something to snooze at. I thought Brock played smart. He had a really good patient run game, one carry away from a Fiesta Bowl record on Breece Hall. He had 34 carries for, I think, like 136 yards, I believe, and then I believe 2 touchdowns. He's the guy who I thought personally was the offensive player of the game because without Breece Hall, Brock Purdy doesn't make some of the reads that I think, he would have with that run game.
Yep.
But besides that, that it's interesting the way that they kind of went about this game. They're just ball hogs. They just hogged the ball. They had time of possession locked down, just ran the ball and ate that clock away. So, it was me being an ISU fan. It was a great moment, the best class in ISU school history. So, Campbell's finally proving that he is one of the best coaches in the nation, and he's turning another program around. So, I think it's just something to say about the coaching staff.
Definitely. Like I said, I was very happy to see it, and now the Cyclones put themselves in a situation moving to next season. They won at the number 10, so they're either going to be ranked 10th or anywhere up in the top 10 to start next year, which is going to give them a chance. They take care of business. You can't come out the gate and lose 2 games, and like they did this year.
Right.
Come out, take care of business. You could see this team maybe in the college football playoffs next year.
Maybe if they take care of business, but the Big 12's it's a hard hard conference.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of big powerhouse schools in there. You have to deal with Oklahoma, Texas. Obviously, Texas getting the offensive coordinator from Alabama, who earlier today said he was staying. Nick Saban even said he was staying on I believe it was a press conference on a phone call. Said that he wasn't going anywhere. He was staying right there. And then 7 hours later, he accepts the job in Texas. So the Big 12 is only going to get more difficult. And we have 3-time Big 12 Coach of the Year in Campbell. Hopefully he returns. I know this was the last year on his deal. So hopefully the athletic director takes care of business in Ames.
I hope that's the case too. I really do.
I do. This was a huge game. Nationally, got to be put on national TV in the Fiesta Bowl. The Fiesta Bowl is it's a New Year's Eve 6 game. These are
big deal.
The most important games in college football. So the fact that we were there, we won first time ever in one of those situations and took care of business. It was awesome. It was super exciting. I'm still jumping for joy. I just can't do it right now.
Right. I totally agree with all this. And I just got to say this, generally, I'm a Hawkeye fan. Generally.
Oh my!
But I'm going to be the one to admit ISU would have beat Iowa this year. No doubt. If they play the way that they had played as the season went on, Cyhawk Trophy's going to Ames. They're going to bust that streak. I think it'll happen next year as long as we don't have some weird COVID stuff. Hopefully we get the Cyhawk game back. But Cyclone's the better team right now, front to back, even the line. And that's hard to say. Iowa always has a good line. But even ISU today, Campbell got into them for that early fourth quarter stop, just reamed them. And then next thing you know, they're moving Oregon off the ball. Get out of my way. We got business. Yep. That's what you want to see. And those are some big dudes out there. I'm curious to see chemistry moving forward. That's going to be a big thing. But, again, you get that 1-2 punch returning next year. You get Breece Hall and Brock Purdy back together. That's going to be great. That's going to be awesome, fun to see. And I'm curious to see where their growth's going to be next year. Are they going to take that next step and be that next tier, from – say right now I'd say – obviously, Breece is one of the best running backs in the nation, but solidify it next year.
Right.
Brock Purdy, you're in that tier 2 right now. Maybe next year you take that leap. You're a tier 1 quarterback going into next year's draft. Right. I don't think that's hard by any means because I saw it. You saw the mobility. You saw the kid's smarts. He knows how to take care of the football, so I want him to keep growing in that.
There was a couple of plays that he made. One was, I think it was like a third down. I can't remember. It was like 3rd and 7. And he ended up, the pocket collapsed quick. Oregon got off the ball. They hit that offensive line hard. The second half, both defenses played way better. Night and day difference between first and second. They just popped off that ball. They crushed that pocket. Purdy knew, and he just it was awesome because he felt the pressure, rolled out, had to reverse the field, ends up faking it, using his arm, but knew the whole time he was going to hold it down, got the defender to bite, hold back, and then he cuts inside. And here was the thing that was nice, and instead of, sliding, which automatically stops him, he goes forward so that they get the forward progress, and they end up getting that first down, continue to just chunk that clock away and keep that Oregon Ducks. It's just the IQ. It was the smart plays that he made today that was awesome to see from freshman to sophomore year, in the growth in this kid. So now we'll see that growth hopefully from sophomore to junior year. Breece Hall should only get better. His vision is, I think, what sets him apart from most running backs. He had 9 100-yard games, which led the FBS. He had the most rushing yards in the FBS. He's a consensus All-American. Now, there's like 5 award categories that you have to get in to be a unanimous. Iowa State's never had a unanimous All-American, ever. If he gets it, which I think it's the running back award, or I can't remember which one it was. There's one that he's on, but they're going to figure out if he's a finalist. If he's a finalist, then he's a unanimous All-American, and I think it's easy to say one of the best running backs. I believe he entered the year at like number 66 in the nation at running back position, like his rank. No one thought he was going to be anything.
That's the ISU narrative, though, unfortunately.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
Good to see. Yeah,
I would like to see that for sure. That's good stuff. I like to see where they're going. I hope they keep it up. I hope Campbell comes back and continues this upward trend. For ISU, it'd be huge. Yeah. Moving forward here, I just want to touch on Iowa real quick. Do the due diligence. Their bowl game for the college football got canceled due to COVID. Nothing new there, unfortunately. As far as basketball, you had Iowa taking care of Rutgers today, which
it was a good game.
Yes, very close game, coming down to the wire. Took a good defensive play to really get things done to continue to be a good team, really. If they would have lost that game, in my mind, 3 losses really takes you and puts you in a bad spot. You got Creighton right in your heels right now at 11th. They're already have dropped, from top 5. They're a top 10 team now, which I talked with you earlier. I thought it was kind of an interesting thing that – who was it? Indiana? Yeah, Indiana is rated higher than them, and the 2 losses that Indiana have are worse losses than what Iowa has. So
Wow.
that kind of bugs me. Iowa lost to the number 1 team in the nation, and then, they got upset by Minnesota, but you had a young Marquette team beat Indiana, and then you had them lose on a buzzer beater last second to Maryland. So those are kind of, in my opinion, way bigger losses than losing to Minnesota, who is a 9-2 team, and the number 1 team in the nation, Gonzaga.
Just this is a high quality of basketball that's being played in the Big Ten. I think, 1 loss is huge. 2 losses, yeah, you're talking big, but I mean, it's just there's so many good teams. 1 loss, 2 losses, they're just going to stand out. I don't think you have much to. It's a good team in Iowa City. They have the right DNA build. You get into March Madness, that's when things get crazy. Because you start to get teams playing teams that they've never even played before, and then you get those one-off situations where just some team out of nowhere just goes crazy. So I mean, if they just continue to play, take your losses when you get them, yeah, but just play smart. You guys, they'll get their wins. I think Iowa will be fine, but they have a hard road.
I totally agree. You did have in another bowl game, you had Oklahoma blowing out Florida, which I'm just going to throw it out there right now. Oklahoma fans, you guys can gloat all you want about it, but considering that some people disagree, and we know who those people are, they're probably not tuning in, but they should, so I can call that person out. You know who you are. They don't necessarily think that it matters. When you have your second string guys starting, he considers it being starters. No, there's a difference interior when it comes to people that play for you. When you don't have a top 10 talent in Pitts at your tight end position, that's a huge deal.
It changes what you do defensively against an offense.
Yes. So that's why I think Oklahoma definitely had a heyday. I still don't think Oklahoma is as good as that score and the team that they did, but I guess we'll see. I'm just not a believer in Rattler. I'm not at all. The kid looks way immature, and he needs to do some growing.
Well, they do play the powerhouse team of the year, Alabama. Woo, roll tide roll. But we didn't talk about this earlier. And I'm not at all convinced about Ohio State. Watching that Clemson game, it was like, okay, all right. Everybody was like, oh, this is why Justin Fields is the best quarterback in this draft class. And I'm like, whoa, slow your roll.
Pump the brakes.
Pump the brakes, put the emergency brakes on, and just stop it.
For real.
Yeah.
Pull the e-brake.
Here's the thing. Justin Fields has the tools to become a good quarterback.
Yes.
But
a really good deep ball.
Given the history of, let's say, Ohio State and the history of their quarterbacks are coming in the NFL,
mm-hmm.
Are you really that good?
Yeah, for sure.
Are you really that? And
that's where I'm at.
Seems like a systematic issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. But I just want to see if Justin Fields can perform that way, the same way on the next level. And that's where the bridge starts to get a little bit shaky.
Yeah,
I agree. So just to share, obviously everyone knows, if you don't know, update: Ohio State blew out Clemson yesterday, 49-28. Fields threw for 6 touchdowns, if I do believe. Trevor Lawrence over here still threw for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns with no interceptions. So if anybody thought that was a question mark game about Lawrence, it totally wasn't. I think that's a knock on Dabo Swinney more than anything.
Yeah.
The dude didn't have his team prepared. He totally overlooked Ohio State, obviously, by saying they were the number 11 team in the nation. Honestly, I can't really fault the dude for saying it. You're not necessarily bashing Ohio State as much as you're bashing the Big Ten for them going in, changing their rules, and allowing Ohio State to steal the championship bid away from other teams. Like, let's get real. Let's just stop.
Just a
Yeah.
business marketing scheme to help the Big Ten.
Yeah,
It was
I
disgusting.
never understood how a four or 5-0 team
Yep.
can overshadow a 7 or 8-0 team. It's just
Agreed.
crazy. It's just
Yep.
crazy, and I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
And other people can say what they want, but
This is
exactly
it.
what you guys said: money, money, money.
Yep.
The-
Well,
Money,
then,
it's
go
just
ahead.
selling, keeping the NCAA. I mean, I realize you're an Alabama fan, but right now, is it good for college football to not have Alabama in the Final Four? No. That's why Ohio State's there. Clemson now is becoming one of those power teams.
Because they're there every year.
They're there every year, so there's you're starting to find this problem with a 4-game playoff. Is the NCAA wants to make its money?
Yep.
And they're going to put the teams that they know make them their money. They'll put them in there, regardless of how hard a team works, because then it's just basically like when let's see, a Mountain West or conference team, or I don't know, some random team gets a really good season going and they just tear up their schedule. Well, then they get the bash of, oh, they didn't play anybody.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't play in the SEC, they don't play in the Big Ten, they don't play, Power 5 teams. Well, it's not their fault.
Right.
They can't choose who they play against, but they always get knocked down to these, bull crap bowls, and they may have great seasons, but they never get respect for it. So it's unfortunate that so much money controls the NCAA in their actions and the teams they choose, unfortunately.
I agree. I think that's why the committee, I think college football as a whole needs to look at expanding the playoffs from 4 to 8 teams.
Yep.
Maybe 10, and you give someone a bye or something. You got to figure something out there because, like you guys are saying, you can't have the same teams in there every year. And let's talk about Notre Dame. Let's talk about how every time they get in, they just get destroyed. How are you trying to say you're one of those perennial teams and you can't even win a flipping game?
Yeah,
They've lost every time they've been in.
I don't know what it is. It's not lack of talent. I mean, obviously, a lot of these guys get drafted, they go to the NFL, they play well, but maybe it's.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's just like it's just like some teams in the NFL who's only good for making the playoffs, and that's it.
Like the Cincinnati Bengals with Andy Dalton.
Playoff filler.
Or the Cowboys.
So yes. So now we have a Alabama Ohio State setup. I'm not sure if the spread's out on that game yet.
I'm not sure. I don't even know they had the dates yet.
Right.
I think it's the 11th.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And what I recently just seen, they just released the dates on that, which is the 11th.
Oh, there it is. Yep. There it is. Alabama is favored by 8, and they are predicting an over/under of 75.5.
So basically, no defense, all offense.
Yep. Which is not the case in my mind. As much as
all I'm saying is Ohio State is coming in for a rude awakening.
I like it. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. As much as I hate to say it, because I'm a Florida fan, I can't stay in Alabama.
Najee Harris will have over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's my prediction. You heard it from me.
Honestly, I think Devonta Smith's going to have the bigger game. I think Smith will have the bigger game simply because I think Mac Jones in that offense is going to have to throw the ball. I think that Ohio State, I think when they look at the tape and they can look back at what's going on and what makes Alabama so good, they're going to do everything they can to stop that running game. Obviously, easier said than done.
Want to know what makes Alabama so good?
Don't even. Just get out of here. Get out of here with your homer. Honestly, though, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at, though. Alabama, this is a different team. This is really a different team. This isn't kind of the teams we'd seen in past where, you have a quarterback that kind of makes your players better. Like, they have talent all over this team.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the thing. I think they're really going to overwhelm Ohio State's defense with the amount of weapons they have on the offensive side.
I just
You
think
know,
it's just that coaching staff. Nick
Mhm.
Saban and the coaching staff has just done a very good job with improving that team to just be so much better than they already were.
Yeah,
And
that's what he does. He elevates
you,
people.
yeah, you've seen it this season where Saban is actually instilled his Saban has instilled the type of culture that winning is everything. Winning is everything. But one thing that a lot of people hasn't really been paying attention to Alabama during this year of 2020 was that they were more in tune with the community, with
Hmm.
the outside community, other than Alabama. You've seen the videos with the police brutality, social injustice, and things like that. And
Yep.
it's just amazing to see how these guys go out their way to give back to their community and being able to put the same effort out on the field.
I agree. I agree. I like. I don't know if I like the over under, but I definitely like Alabama points. I could even see them winning this by 14 or more. That's just kind of. I think that offense is that explosive, and if Ohio State can't keep up, they're going to lose the track race.
I'm going to Ohio State because there's an Alabama fan in here, and I just want to go against him.
Homer. Oh, love it, love
You're
it.
gonna regret that.
No emotional attachment.
Moving
So, I mean, if you win, that's okay.
right.
I just want to be able to talk to you in a party and be like,
That's so funny. So moving along, right on to the NBA live. We're gonna go ahead and check into the Western Conference, see how that's look at the Eastern Conference. Obviously, we got the Bulls fan in here, so they'll kind of tell us that Eastern Conference life, how it's going. Oh, we got a Celtics fan too. So see, we got two East guys. I'll take care of the West, even though my boy KD's out East. It's okay. So here we go. Here we go. We did have the last two undefeated teams lose. Atlanta lost and the Magic lost, so there is no more undefeated teams in the NBA. When you look at the West, kind of crazy. You got the Phoenix Suns out front and 5-1. But is it really crazy? That's the funny part. Chris
Really?
Paul going to that Phoenix team, completing piece in my mind. They've won 4 straight, looking good. Look at the 2 and the 3. You got Clippers, Lakers. No surprise there. I expect this Lakers team throughout the course of the season to really get that chemistry together. I'm sure at some point this season we're going to see that team go on a pretty crazy run. It's definitely going to happen. You got the Pelicans up there in 4th. That is surprising to me, but I'm curious to see if they're going to stay. And maybe Zion in that offense is going to take a step in the right direction, and maybe we'll see them be a 4 or 5 seed this year. That would be huge for the Pelicans. I hope it happens.
I think with Phoenix, it's more of the coaching staff and the players
Mm-hmm.
all know each other in some type of away, which
Mm-hmm.
Steve Nash just recently retired, and then you have Chris Paul here, who actually have been in the league, around, has
Quite
been
a
in the
while.
league with Steve Nash, and the relationship is there, and you can see the chemistry there with just the coaching staff and the players,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see that put out. And look at them now; they're 5-1. They're leading. They're right now leading the NBA.
Yep. Best
Like,
record in the NBA.
I
Which
think
really,
who'd have thought?
go ahead,
Who'd have
Albatross.
thought?
I think the Suns are, and maybe they're not a dark horse. I don't want to say dark horse because a lot of people are looking at them, right? I mean, this team's being looked at. There's a lot. I mean, when Chris Paul comes to your team, at this point in his career, I don't think he's wasting his time. I feel like.
No.
So, personally, I think one of the best pure scorers in the league is in Phoenix. Booker.
Mm-hmm.
This kid's dynamite. You take the pressure of him running the offense and you give it to a guy who's carried offenses before in Chris Paul. This team's going to be so hard. DeAndre Ayton down low is going to be able to have fun and just play his game.
Imagine when you get that Chris Paul and Ayton chemistry running at high lows.
I mean, this is just going to be gross for the Western Conference. If they're not ready to play Phoenix, I think, is going to show you they're ready to play.
Mhm.
And watch Phoenix. I think Phoenix is going to be a top 3 seed in the Western Conference by the end of the year. And that does say that they're going to make one of these powerhouse 3 that are in, Clippers, Lakers. I'd say the Warriors will end up there in the top, 4 by the time the season rolls around. I think one of them are going to get replaced by the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. And the reason why is, I wouldn't say this is surprising to me as much as Chris Paul was the finishing piece. The bubble. They didn't lose when it came to the bubble, and they totally got shafted by missing out.
Team continuity.
Right. And that I think that was kind of a growing thing as much as it was bulletin board material for them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, guys, we didn't lose to a single team in the bubble. We didn't make it. Let's go work hard. And now you have a 5-1, jumping out the get-go 5-1. Pretty good road team. I mean, their one loss is on the road, but they're 3-1, and they're already 2-0 at home, so they take care of their home games.
Right.
If you want to see that, you protect home floor, you're doing good. Unlike Oklahoma City down there, who was a good team, and now they're just trash now. So, good story.
Good story.
Houston, Houston, on the other hand, the sooner you get James Harden out the door, the better your team's going to be. There's just too many questions right now going around Houston, and I think that's what's affecting the play. They're giving up 116, 117 points a game, and they only score 115. So right now they got a minus differential.
Yeah.
There's only 2 teams. Excuse me, real quick. There's only 2 teams. One of them being over 10, and the other one being close to having a plus 10 differential already in the season. One being the Lakers at plus 10.7, and the Suns are plus 9.3. The Clippers are only 1.5. Something to watch for going down the stretch. What do you got, CJ?
So I wanted to ask you this with you being in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the Lakers are in a good position to repeat?
100%. Because this team is better than last year's team. They got younger in certain positions, but in the other positions that they didn't necessarily get younger, they got better. I'll take Marc Gasol over Dwight Howard. I'll take Dennis Schroeder at my point position and take some slack off LeBron. I'll take those pieces that they just brought in.
Mm-hmm.
I even like Montrezl Harrell now. I think Harrell is comfortable, and you saw it when him and Schroeder are in the game and they play together. Those 2 feed off each other, and for whatever reason, again, he's comfortable in LA on the Lakers side, not the Clippers side. There was something with the Clippers in maybe it was how Doc Rivers was running the team. I don't know, but there was a lot of what if in the Clippers organization that was really messing with a lot of things.
You're talking about Harrell?
So LeBron had his first triple-double of the season so far.
Yep. Tying the franchise record, by the way, that Kobe set. Just saying.
But he's also, his numbers aren't as great, as we usually see in the beginning of the season. But one thing that I can say is he's still, working hard to becoming that, that all category type of player.
Oh yeah, he also set another record on his birthday the other night. 1,000 games straight with at least 10 points. Only player to ever do it.
Well, I mean, he better. You're LeBron James.
Michael only did it for like 800 in some games. Only. 800 in some games is fucking nuts, though.
But still, the one category that matters the most is Michael has 6 rings. That's all.
Oh, it's matter. It's crazy. It's just anybody who's scoring 10 plus points for over 500 games is, in my mind, should be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no, I respect LeBron James. I just am a Michael Jordan fan. I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. You made the comment, he tied Kobe's record. Kobe was never going to be a triple-double assist guy.
Not
He's
at
a
all.
scoring machine.
Yeah, I mean, he did what he had to do to involve the team that he did. But I mean, there's a reason why Kobe scored 81 points, correct? 82, 81,
Oh, 82.
82. There's a reason why he did that, especially in the game style that he did it in. He was Kobe. Michael was Michael. LeBron is LeBron. Back to now, let's get a little bit out of nostalgic for me, and most Bulls fans are stuck there. So, I think the biggest difference about this team from last year's team for the Lakers, they're more malleable. Montrezl Harrell is his best friend. If LeBron said go jump off a bridge, Harrell would be like, woo! He'd be gone. So, I mean, he's going to do exactly what LeBron wants him to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of Montrezl Harrell. I don't think he's really that good of a player. But he's played with his best friend, so he's going to do what he
I agree.
Marc
You know
Gasol, smart guy, character guy. Again, I don't feel like you're dropping off very much from Howard. I feel like you're getting about the same play, good quality minutes in the minutes that they're going to play.
I think you're going to get better offense, though. I think that's going to be the difference from
consistency.
From Dwight to Gasol. Well, you need that three ball. Mark can shoot the three.
Yeah, and he did more now in his later part of his career because he's so apt to go down in the low block.
Right, which he could. He has the finesse moves if he needs to. But with this offense, I think this Lakers offense benefits more from having him stretch the corners and bring those big guys out of the box.
You know what? I really didn't understand the signing of Montrezl Harrell. I never really understood, what was the vision there. And here's why.
Friends.
Well,
yeah, but
if Dwight wouldn't have left, they wouldn't have signed him.
I mean, sure, but even if you still look at the personnel that they have, I mean, again, where does Montrezl Harrell really fit?
I know.
Where does he fit? I mean, you have Anthony Davis, you got Marc Gasol, and then you got LeBron there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even go out on a limb and say you have Kyle Kuzma. These guys who can. You even got Markieff Morris, right?
Let me throw this at you, though.
I mean, it's just one of those things where you got to look at it to a point where, I guess, yeah, sure, he get to play with his best friend, but I didn't really understand that, that addition there, and I mean, I'm just glad to see him actually, contributing on the board with, I think, Marc Gasol's last game he didn't score anything, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
let me just throw this at you though. This is kind of maybe we'll see this because this is what Vogel does, and I've always been a fan of Vogel. I loved his coaching in Indiana.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed the kid.
Really
like without Vogel, I don't think we have Paul George, and I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
So really, what you can do with LeBron, AD. I don't necessarily know who their other biggest guy would be besides obviously Gasol, Harrell.
I think
if you throw
is going to rise up as their number 3.
Well, he's going to be their point, no doubt. But I'm just saying for if you need to go up against a big team, like say you're playing the 76ers, with Joel Embiid, you can just body bang that dude with so many guys and wear him down so fast. Throw Marc Gasol at him. Throw Montrezl Harrell at him.
Mm-hmm.
Have him try to guard AD. Like, there's so many things you can do, and you can make a super big lineup and say, go ahead, try to rebound the ball against us. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Harrell's there definitely for rotational minutes with Gasol not being able to play a full set of, like, I'd say 30 minutes, 32 minutes. You'd want a big, 4 to play. Harrell, he's going to take the bulk of the load. Him and Gasol will switch. AD should just be able to carry his weight. He should be really playing 38 minutes, I would say, a game. 37 minutes. LeBron obviously isn't going to play all the same. LeBron needs to take time. You can't burn LeBron's wheels now. Like, nope. I mean, yes, he is extremely smart. He is physically fit, but he's not playing 82 games at this level. I'm calling it now. Like, he's not. He will take. He'll take a couple games off, which is smart. He can't.
He is not 24 anymore.
No.
He cannot.
No.
He cannot play 82 games the same way
Nope.
from start to finish. It just can't
No.
happen. It won't
Well,
happen.
especially when you only
And
had
you're
70
absolutely
games
right.
in between.
You're going to
Yes.
see LeBron sit out a lot of games this season, you know. And
Yes.
and here's just for the record, I'm a guy that's totally against buying championships. And you know what that means. You know, when you look at this Lakers roster, you know, it's a little bit super there, you
That's what
know.
money can do for you, though. Look at the Los Angeles Dodgers.
But
Luxury taxpayers.
yep. But what I can say is that I respect, you know, the way this Lakers team has turned around, you know,
100%.
in a sense, you know. I'm just glad to see that, you know, you got guys like, you know, LeBron. You got LeBron and Anthony Davis here. Who'd have thought that you see these two guys on the same team?
Right? And I'm glad we have. Because honestly, I think it's hard to say this because Dwayne Wade and LeBron were – those two were dynamite. Just their chemistry together and the way that they would physically just take over the games. Obviously, sorry, Bulls. You know, you guys experienced it versus, you know, with Derrick Rose, which sucked because I loved watching D Rose play that season. But I think Anthony Davis and LeBron is probably the best duo that LeBron's ever had, and just hands down. The way that AD, he just, hey, here, AD, take the ball. Next thing you know, AD is going to drop 40. Like, it's just how it goes.
Natural
So,
talent. I would
let me-
agree with that 100%.
Yep.
Let
I
me
think he's
let me
better
let me
overall
veer
player.
over, and I'm going to end it at this. Let me veer over to the Chicago, on the Chicago side. You guys got some actually talented players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys got some talented players, but it just doesn't seem like this group of guys is clicking on all levels of cylinders. You know, in the beginning of the season, it's still the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
You know, you guys are 2-4, and the games that I've been looking at, it's just, you know, when you look at the level of talent that these guys have, and then they playing the way they're playing, it's like, what is the disconnect there?
Well,
I'm asking you as a Chicago fan, what do you think is the disconnect right now?
I think right now what we're seeing is as a franchise, we had been scarred for a while from front office decisions towards good head coaches. So I think we finally got a solid head coach in Billy Donovan. But this locker room, I think, from last year was pretty fractured. I feel like there's not a lot of trust right there right now. And I think that's what we see is the lack of trust. Once we start to see these guys trust each other and trust the system that they're in, because I feel like that fast-paced system that Donovan brings is the right style for Levine and, you know, White, Wendell Carter, you know, Lauri Markkanen. I like the fact that I guess having a total moment here. He's an older gentleman on our team. I can't think of his name. Good Lord.
Which one?
Small forward. He was our Otto Porter.
Yeah,
You know,
Otto Porter.
He has taken the backseat role to our rookie and has said multiple times he's fine with playing whatever minutes, you know, he is allotted to play. I think that there's a lot of good, building blocks right now. The fact that we're not 0-6, I'm super stoked. The fact that we're not 1-5, I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
We've beaten some teams that we should. We've lost to some teams that we definitely should. You know, like losing to the Bucks. You know, the Bucks should have no problem in the Central, besides
Not at all.
the Pacers. But the
So,
Bucks shouldn't have any issues.
Honestly, your team should the Bulls should be sitting 3-3 right now. And I say that because right now Golden State's vulnerable. You guys lost to Golden State by a point at home. Should take care of business. I understand losing to the Pacers and the Hawks. They're up in the top of the East. And obviously the Bucks. I get that. The Bucks are who they are. They just had Giannis say, hey, I'm staying here. Superstars, come to Milwaukee. We're winning here. I'm not going nowhere else.
Right.
Like that's just how it is. I get it. I'm going to say, to answer your question from my point of view, outside looking in, I think what you're seeing is a new system and a new staff. Billy Donovan trying to put his mark on this team. I think the key for the Bulls this season, don't dig yourself a big hole.
Yep.
You guys need to win some games. If you're going to lose one and it's tight, cool, I get it. Learn from it. Figure out, was it system? We weren't running the system right. Did we miss some shots? And go to the next. Short-term memory. This team's, young enough to do that. And they're explosive enough to be able to score with the people. You look at them over here, they're scoring 133, scoring 115, scoring 128, 100 plus pretty much every game besides the Bucks, which, again, we know who the Bucks are.
Right. They're playing exactly to who they should be.
Yep.
And I think Patrick Williams was the individual we drafted in the first round. I think he's going to play really well with Otto and not forcing him, and Otto being the guy that we brought in from Washington to play at a high level.
Yep.
And had some injury issues. But the fact that he's willing to step back, give the rookie the opportunity and the reps to get better, to play with Levine, to play with White, to play with those starting five. If I see a basketball team in Chicago, I'm saying, February, March, you see them still hanging around 500, that's going to be a victory. Because that, again, you're going to see a team who's going to have that short-term memory, maybe lose a few, but then win a few, lose a few, win the few. So I'm not expecting anything. If we pull out like an 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, I'd be like celebrating a Super Bowl for Chicago Bulls fans. But, I'm just happy to see finally some culture change in the locker room. Obviously, the franchise is forever stuck in MJ land. We're never going to want to leave, and it's time to move forward.
Speaking of culture change, Washington right now is 1-5.
Yep.
Russell Westbrook, they finally get their first win in the blowout. With the Timberwolves to what was it, 130 to 109?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about that Wizards team. I think they're going to be good down the stretch. I think everyone's trying to adjust to – I don't know if it's a bad thing. A lot of people want to say, maybe Westbrook's a cancer, this and that. Westbrook's an alpha. You're going to listen to what he has to say. You're going to do what he has to say. It's his team wherever he goes. If you don't do it, well, then you're just going to have bullshit all day.
Being from here, being from D.C., I've been seeing a lot of, backstage, behind the scenes, Russell Westbrook. And Russell Westbrook has taken full control of this leadership role that they've given him.
Yeah.
He's just making sure all the players are in sync, making sure there's no issues. And him and Bradley Beal seems to just be working very cohesively, very cohesively. It's just now, these big guys that's in the post just have to do better. Thomas Bryant have to do better. Davis Bertans, he has to do better. Isaac Bonga, these guys just have to do better in the paint. Young up and coming star Rui Hachimura, I just need to see more from him. I need to see him to put out more. Yep. They let him go. They put him in and let Otto Porter walk. Yep. So he has to step up.
He's got to be the guy.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I agree.
You look at it, the team scores over 100 every game so far, and they have not gotten beaten by more than 10 points. Worst loss is 10 points. So they're in every game. It's kind of like the similar conversation we just had about Chicago. These are two teams right now. You have the 15th ranked, basically, Washington Wizards, and you have, I believe it's the 13th ranked Chicago Bulls, who really, in a sense, were in every game that they were in, right?
Pretty much.
If you get some continuity going in these teams and these locker rooms and some guys who start leaning on each other, I think watch for these two teams to be up there, 8 to 6 seeds.
Still beginning of the season.
It's early to go.
I agree. It's going to be a good season. I think it is. I think we're starting to see that from an early standpoint. You're starting to see, teams are starting to kind of show you who they can be, but you're not going to see that consistency until, like you said, March, April.
Yeah.
They really, they've had a couple, like a month or two to really play together and mold. And
like 40, 50 games into the season,
Yep.
you're going to start seeing these guys really
You'll
start
know
to
who's
click.
who.
And
100%.
at that point, they'll be nice and warmed up. You'll start seeing guys, really blast off of some big games. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The NBA has been doing a lot of things right. And I hope for a successful season for this organization.
I totally agree. Real quick here, I just want to, who I want to touch on. I'm going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets real quick. So, and it's interesting because I followed them the first 2 games. They blew out the Warriors, blew out the Celtics. You're like, wow, talk about firepower. Then they lose to the Hornets by 2, lose to the Grizzlies by 5. So what do we really got? But then they go into an absolute shootout with the Hawks and give the Hawks their first loss of the season, 145 to 141. That's gross. That is nothing but offense. Then, this is the weird thing. I think this is going to be something to watch too, is these back-to-backs.
Yeah.
You have a lot of these back-to-backs early in the season. So you had the Hawks Hawks lost the first of the back-to-back, like I said, 145-141. But then they come back the next night and they beat Brooklyn by almost 20 points, 114 to 96.
Yeah.
This Hawks team's pretty scary. You see Trae Young taking that step again, being that guy, getting hot. And then you have this DeAndre Hunter scoring 23 points alongside with Trae Young. You add another prolific scorer to that offense with Trae Young, good luck.
Atlanta's going to be tough to beat. If they can just add a little bit, just a smidge of physicality to that scoring power, you're talking NBA championship caliber, type of team.
100%. So the East right now looks like it's going to be the tougher division to come out of because you have so many close teams. You got 4 teams at 4-1, and then you got a 3-2, and then it's 3-3, 3-3, 3-3, and then you got a bunch of 2-3s. Everyone's really close together.
Yep.
I feel like the West, you have 1 5-1 team. Everyone else has lost 2 or more.
Yep.
You kind of – there's more separation there. You don't have a 4-way tie for first.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think you see a lot of young teams in the East that are finally starting to get the right opportunities. And maybe, like has a little bit of age, but is getting the right opportunity like the Wizards. So, I think that it's just a lot of good things are happening in the NBA. Like I said, front office of the NBA itself has been doing a good job. So, like I said, hopefully for a good season. I think it's going to be entertaining. As a 49er fan, I'm ready to watch some NBA.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to the fun there. Also, I just got to say it. I think Doc Rivers found something in how to coach Joel Embiid. He's putting up Charles Barkley numbers in their first 4 or 5 games.
Yep.
So let's see if it can continue. Let's see if he can maintain the health. Maybe Doc Rivers found the key to keeping Joel Embiid healthy. So when you get into those playoff series, you can actually do something.
Right.
So that's something to follow. Moving right along here into what we like to call in other news. Oh. So really, I wasn't quite sure what all was going on. But I had Albatross kind of look into some things, and I think we've got some quick topics to cover
here. Yeah. No, we'll just do a couple of quick brush-ups. We're not really going to get into much depth. In baseball news, we got some international, fun stuff going on. We're coming up to into the winter meetings. Kohei Arihara, I believe is how you say it. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I guess he is a right-handed pitcher, has been highly sought after by multiple teams. It seems that he has 3 teams he narrowed it down to. Leader is going to be the Padres, because for a long time it was only the Padres who were really connected to the talk of getting him. Mike Clevenger goes down with Tommy John surgery. They got to replace him, considering he's in the top of their rotation. Then right before really the last moment, because I believe the window to talk to him ends on the 7th. Yeah, the 7th or the 10th, I believe. I can't remember. So teams can't talk to him anymore. Then he threw in that the Rangers and the Red Sox were in there. So we have the Red Sox throwing out some cash, Rangers throwing out some cash. So we're going to see who lands him. I'd really like to see him laying down there with the Friars, but we know how baseball goes. Money, money, money. The other big one, international star, which again is only linked to the Padres, Rangers, and Red Sox, is the Tomoyuki Sugano. And he is heard to have been here in America, so he's days away from making his final decision on where he's going to land. He's just the opposite. He's a outfielder. So Sugano is 31 years old, so he's been playing for some time. But still, it's just one of those smart guys they bring into the lineup, going to make the team a whole lot better. Some of the other things, we have the Yankees out here trying to get what was it? I had it up here a second ago. The Yankees were trying to get DJ LeMahieu. So they're trying to go for a big infielder guy. The Marlins have been busy in the market trying to upgrade their outfield. They've been rumored to go with, Marcell Ozuna to come back, but they don't really want to pay him the price that he's asking for. I think the other really big move in the MLB is the fact that the Astros are no longer going to have their leadoff home run hammerer in George Springer. Doesn't make me cry. I'm a Mariners fan, so I'm glad to see him leave. And I believe the only two teams he was talking to was the Mets and I believe the Blue Jays. So some big changes for some big teams, maybe pumping up those rosters, get a World Series run going, maybe deflating those rosters by losing George. Yeah. So I'm happy to see that, though.
Oh, that's funny. I like it. Short, sweet, to the point. Nice little baseball touch there. We don't always get a chance to really discuss the whole baseball thing. We're not quite there yet. Obviously, we're still in the winter meetings, so it's nice to kind of get a little bit of information there. I appreciate that, Albatross. And we're going to get right into what we like. Let's be honest.
Oh, no. Cover your ears.
Here's where I'm at.
Uh-oh.
Brian Flores, Coach of the Year. You go from getting blown out your first, I think it was the first 7 games of the season last year. You get outscored like 200 and I think it was like 238 to 77 over the course of those games. Just getting trashed. Finds Nick Needham, undrafted rookie. Really developed him. You had some pieces you put together. Ryan Fitzpatrick really was your journeyman last year. End up winning 5 of their last 9. One of them being the final game for Tom Brady and the Patriots. Huge ordeal, kind of really took them out of the playoff picture, put them in a bad spot. They lost first round. We know how all that went. Well, then you go to year 2. You got Tua Tagovailoa. You had all that drama going in. He still takes Fitz. Fitz is the guy. You go 3-3. Get your bye week changed. We're inserting Tua. Here you are, 10-5, number 1 defense in the NFL. After having the last ranked defense last year. 1 year you go from last to first, potential playoff berth if they win tomorrow. I don't know what more the guy needs. I mean, I think he's there. I think he is really there. There's some good teams, but I think Brian Flores has to be talked about as Coach of the Year.
Well, yeah, and I hate to toot your own horns, but I like what Brian Flores did this year. I'm going to keep saying it. In the beginning of the season, I said that Dolphins can definitely be one of the top teams in this AFC East to be favored to win this division. And a lot of people's like, the Dolphins, man, get out of here. What are you talking about? Nobody care about the Dolphins. And I'm like, just listen. Listen to when I tell you guys. This defense that Flores is shaping up in the offseason is going to come to be one of the most dominant defenses in the season. Nobody wanted to hear me. Look at him now. Top defense in
Yep.
the league. Top defense. Xavier Howard having how many interceptions? 8,
9.
9 interceptions.
One from the first double digit season since like 2012, I want to say.
9 interceptions. This Dolphins defense has been consistent with a capital
Mhm.
C. They have been consistent. Offensively, there's still some work.
Oh, yeah.
There's still some kinks there. Offensive line needs to invest more in that.
Yep.
Eric Flowers, not it. Find somebody else.
Whoa. Flowers has been good this year. Come on.
Has he?
He has. He's been
Has
one of the
he?
better grade linemen on the line.
Listen.
I know you don't like him from Washington days, but he's a different player in Miami.
It's not that I don't like him. I think that he does well.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a starter. I think he's more of a reliever than a starter. I just don't see him playing 60 minutes for me throughout the whole game. I just don't see it. He's the type of guy that you can bring in if you need to, at halftime. Plug him
Right.
in different spaces. But I just don't see him playing 60 minutes. He's not a 60-minute guy for me. He never
Right.
has been a 60-minute guy in Washington. But I like Tua. We've talked about the conversation with, the Tua and Fitzpatrick situation. Me personally, I think, they should have kept Fitzpatrick there, from the beginning and let Tua sit and learn instead of
Mhm.
risking this kid's, debut. I mean, I get it. If he's ready, you put him in. But, I just believe had you waited until this week or last week to actually start him, I think that it would have been better because now I think we would have seen a different Tua than what we're seeing now.
Honestly,
And
uh,
that is better.
I like what you're saying, but I think I really think you're going to see Tua's best game of his young career tomorrow, and that's because of the play time that he's gotten. I think we take this kid for granted already. You have so many people who want to say he's a bust. He's been benched twice. He can't be the guy. I think we're taking him for granted. This kid might be young, but he's probably one of the more mature rookies in the league. I mean, look at his body language when he gets benched. You don't see him going to the sidelines and pulling a Dwayne Haskins, do you? Pulling one of these. Oh, I'm going to throw fit. I got benched. Oh. No. He's pulling up the tablet. He's right next to Fitz. He's asking questions. He wants to know what's going on. He wants to know, why'd you make that throw? Why are you stretching, the defense this way? What did you see? He's still learning. He's still picking brains. He's not just going to the sideline, oh, my day's done, hanging my helmet up. Okay, cool. He's staying involved in the team. And I think that is why, again, you're going to see that game tomorrow, and I think you're going to see him make those plays. It's 2 or nothing tomorrow. That's how it is. It's not just 2 a time. It's 2 or nothing.
Let's be honest. I actually wrote this one down. Let's be honest. I don't think the Chiefs have it anymore.
Ooh.
Why'd you drop this before my comment on Tua? But I'll hold that. So, hang on. Man.
Pump the brakes.
Why do you do this to me? I mean, wow. All right. So, Tua, here's my problem with the Dolphins right now. I think Brian Flores is the coach of the year just because of the way that he has flipped the culture and the way that the organization and the Miami Dolphins is viewed. Period. It shows on the field. Chan Gailey is a horrible offensive coordinator. I will stand by it every day. I don't know what Brian Flores sees. He obviously sees him during all week in practice and meetings and stuff like that. So he sees things that we don't. I take him for his value because Flores says he has value. Now, to this point, personally, I feel that Flores has put Tua in, and maybe this isn't Flores' fault, but I feel like he put him in a bad situation with Chan Gailey. I think if you go out here, you get an offensive coordinator who can really just mold this offense to the ability that this kid has, this offense is just going to be dynamite. You have two really hard-working running backs who have never – and again, this is coming from a 49er fan who has undrafted rookies running for him, and they run well. Don't look past people who are undrafted, and I think certain teams are good examples of it. You can find some hard-working men out there who want to be good running backs, and I think you got a couple good ones in Miami. I don't think you guys need to spend money there. The thing I've seen when I've watched tape, your center and your guard play has been good. The tackles sometimes just don't do their jobs. I feel like you invest in the right big man on the outside, mix and match with what you got. I think we have the good 3/5 of what you need on that offensive line. Just maybe a couple little question marks. This Dolphins team's really close. This year, maybe not it. Maybe next year, we'll see.
Well, and I'm going to piggyback off that. With these, like you said, undrafted free agents, you never should overlook them, because they have also made their name inside of the history books.
Yep.
Believe it or not, Jeff Garcia, Priest Holmes, Josh Cribbs, Tony Romo, Donnie Shell.
Yep.
These guys were undrafted
Cameron
free
Wake.
agents.
Cameron Wake had a great career.
Cameron Wake, Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, a guy who Peyton Manning knows really well.
London Fletcher, Priest Holmes.
Exactly.
Just to name a few. And now, Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson has a great story. Undrafted, everybody overlooked him. People say he was undersized. I mean, even though he doesn't have the typical size for a wide receiver that's 6'4", he gets the job done. The job done. 100%. And you're absolutely right. I say that, these undrafted free agents, you have to look at them and, not overlook them. There are some hidden gems there, and if you just take the time out to actually, see where they could fit in your scheme, I think the Dolphins will, do very good. I agree with you. Chan Gailey needs to go. You need to find another offensive coordinator.
Yep. Now, to what you said,
mm-hmm.
I don't think the Chiefs have it, and I haven't for a long time. Again, their offense is good because they have a really, really good mind pushing it. Both the offensive coordinator and Andy Reid are offensive gurus. They know what they're doing. It's just the fact that they have not taken control of any team that they've played this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, every person can argue with me in the world. They're the defending Super Bowl champions, so everyone's going to play them extra hard. I don't really care about that. When you have a team that's considered to be the most dominant team in the league, you should have a couple of blowout victories, in my opinion. You should have some games where you could point back and be like, now look here. The Chiefs absolutely handled this team. But for like the last 8 weeks, I mean, they're squeaking 3-point victories, 5-point victories. They're going to start playing these teams in the AFC. And guess what? There is no Cupcake Kingdom to be there to help make their little stadium loud. So home field advantage matters squat. There is no such thing as home field advantage this year.
Right.
It's go and play your game, take care of business, and then go home.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to see a tough AFC race, and I think the way that the NFL wants it is the way that they wanted it last year. They wanted their reunion of Super Bowl I.
Chiefs Packers.
I hate to say it, but we might get it this year. But I'm really hoping that an AFC team steps up and truly proves what I believe that the Chiefs are not. They're not good enough to repeat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to name a few games, which is why I believe that the Chiefs doesn't have it. This season they have played teams. Most of their opponents have been under 500.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
When they come to the playoffs, that stipulation doesn't matter.
Nope.
That stipulation doesn't stand in the playoffs anymore.
Yep.
You're playing these high caliber guys.
Yep.
And when the playoffs do come, whoever is coming out of that wild card is hungry. Because not only that they don't get a division bye, like some of these teams are, have expected in the beginning of the season before they change the playoff stipulations.
Right.
Some of these guys are pissed. They don't get to rest. But they be coming out the wild card, and if they do win that wild card game, they'll be looking to come through and knock off the Super Bowl champs.
Yep.
And a few games that made me believe that the Chiefs just can't have it out, anymore with these these upcoming playoff contenders. The Dolphins, Xavier Howard pretty much shut out Tyreek Hill, completely. The Raiders did so well in the first game and
They only
came back
lost
and
by 3 in the second game, right? Something like that.
4. Yeah, they lost by 4.
Yep.
And that was only because of the
Raiders shot
in the last
themselves in
drive.
the foot.
Yeah, exactly.
So about the
You know,
Falcons.
The Panthers game, the Bucks game. I mean, these games here that
The Falcons. Just last
the
week.
Falcons, yeah, they almost lost that game against the Falcons.
Mhm.
So, I just don't think the Chiefs have it in the playoffs no more. And they just,
Almost lost to the Falcons at home
they almost lost to the Falcons.
in Kansas City.
And what's worse is that it's the Falcons.
Right.
The team, but the interesting thing about the teams that you mentioned, they have this unique ability, and they like to stretch the teams deep. They have receivers who can do that.
Mhm.
The Chiefs can't, and as much as everyone wants to say Tyrann Mathieu, I just can't stand him anyway. They say he's the best at his position. I disagree 100%. I disagree 100%. Yes, he can come up and make a good tackle at the line of scrimmage. I'll give him credit. But is he just this all-pro, no one else can play like him? No. There's not that much on that secondary that stops them from getting beat deep. And then you just take and put it in the situation where now Patrick Mahomes has to sit here and play deep the whole time. It all comes down to taking away his options. He has 2 options, his tight end or Hill. That's it. That's the way this team plays. And they're not going to run the ball very much. They never do. Andy Reid, I don't know. I think he has an allergy to running the ball.
I agree. I'm kind of right there too. It's crazy for me because that Miami game specifically, going into that defense, we had 3 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, forcing the Chiefs to have 4 turnovers, and they still somehow managed to win. Against an offense that has more weapons, you're not going to win that game. Miami doesn't really have the weapons for it yet, and Tua still managed to bring a 30-10 deficit back to a 1-score game in the fourth quarter. Again, if you're a great team and you have a team down 30-10, how are you letting them coming back to make it a 1-score game and put pressure on you?
Yep.
That's not how it works. Again, if Young Hoku doesn't miss let's be honest, basically a flipping chip shot, like 35, 40-yard field goal to tie the game last week, you got Atlanta taking Kansas City to overtime, maybe getting the victory because they could not stop Matt Ryan in that offense.
Right.
So I agree.
Voodoo dolls.
Right, I agree. I think this is the time for someone to beat Kansas City. They're going to get that bye week. Historically, that bye week isn't necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, anything can happen. COVID can happen.
Yep.
COVID has took the turn for the worst in the NFL through the second half of the season. In the beginning of the season, you thought, maybe the NFL can survive, and then, boom.
I also think it relies on some of the players too. You really had people. Okay, again, look at Miami. We've only had maybe a handful of people be on the list this year for COVID. That's because they're following protocols. They're taking care of business. They're wearing their masks. They're just doing the little things.
Yep.
I don't think every team is doing that. Look at Baltimore. Yeah. Look at Cleveland. Look at there's many teams who haven't been following that. That's San Francisco. There's many teams that They don't follow the guidelines. Next thing you know, they're losing like 5, 10, 15 people, and then they're going to get smoked.
Right.
Like,
and it's this, and this is another. Let's be honest, fans. I just want to let you understand. I just want you guys to understand this. The NFL is not out there to get your team. The team that I'm actually talking about is the Steelers. They're not out there to get you. Okay. Stop being privileged. Stop being privileged.
Right.
Put the brakes. You guys are average at best. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys went 11-0. You guys went 11-0. But when you look at your schedule, you ask yourself, did you really go 11-0?
mm-hmm.
Hey, look, they made the schedule for you. You play the schedule. That's fine. But you struggled against Dallas, and then you hosted Washington, and Washington knocked you loose.
Yep.
And since then, you got the Steelers been on a decline. But just to speak about this COVID situation, is that this is real.
Yeah.
And I'm just so glad that there are some teams who, like the Dolphins, the Washington football team, there were a few players who did make that COVID list, but they wasn't around the team.
Right.
Matt Ioannidis, he was out for the season, but he was tested positive for COVID, and then I'm just so happy that Ryan Haskins didn't have COVID with his 2 COVID violations. So
right.
It's just like you said. It's up to the team and the organization to actually be very strict, about this about these protocols. The NFL only have their protocols, but it's up to the organization to actually, enforce. Yeah, uphold those and enforce. Just tell your players, listen, if you don't have to go anywhere, just you guys can stay at a hotel close, or stay at a hotel close to the facility. It's just one of those things where you got to actually, keep it take in mind is, NFL. Why didn't you really nab down on these organizations who had these major breakouts? Yep. You see San Fran, you see the Chiefs, you see
Cleveland.
Well,
Cleveland. Yeah.
While you're saying this, let me just say, I think they cracked down in the sense of they didn't reschedule the game. They said, "Go play. You're about to lose.
Yeah.
You're not following stuff. You're losing your guys. Go play those games."
And the Saints is coming down to the wire with Ty Montgomery possibly starting.
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
Ty Montgomery.
That's
possibly starting, the last game of the Saints. Listen, I have to
they're
say
lucky they're in a good position.
Right. Because that could hurt.
So
we'll get to that soon.
The biggest thing that really upsets me is that when you look at these teams who's really been affected, San Fran, Denver at the time where they didn't have no quarterbacks, and now the Lions were forced to have a whole different coaching staff change. It's I mean, something
that was good for the Lions, though. I mean, they really needed a clean house in that coaching staff anyway.
Oh yeah, I agree. But I just think that things need to change.
Yep, I agree
for sure. I like that segment, guys. I really do. I think it gets better and better every week. I really enjoy getting in here and just throwing some facts down at things and really flipping the narrative on some things. I really enjoy that.
The truth.
Yes, the truth is great.
Just quick picks. So, Acid, sorry. I think I believe you have some records to talk about how I did.
Yeah, no, I did last week. You just missed it. No, I don't. It's bad. Okay, I need
one loss.
Yeah, I need to get another notebook, and I need to actually just get a notebook specifically for the show because the kids keep taking my stuff, and the wife moves the stuff, and
SNS Inc. being incriminate. No.
Yeah, so wherever that stupid book is about our win and loss, it's gone. But I do know after the 2 weeks, obviously I don't know how I did last week because I can't even go look at my picks because, again, they're gone. So Albatross had basically recovered from a 2-5, and then the next week basically only lost one game and was up to like 9-6. So he was really, really top of the food chain there at that point in time. But we're going to get into it now. We got the quick picks of the week. We're going to start off the bat, Baltimore, Cincinnati. I'm taking Baltimore. They've been hot lately. It's hard to think that Cincinnati is going to be able to pull that one out. That's just how I see it. How do you guys see it?
Well, this week is not just a normal week.
Right.
This week, and this just goes around the whole NFL. This week is the week where it's either win big or go home.
It's true.
You have to win. And I think right now the Bengals are in a situation right now where, they're not playing for anything. The only thing they're only playing for is to crush the playoff hopes of the Ravens.
Right.
So,
but that's
I
a lot.
mean,
And being division rivals.
Yeah. We thought the Bengals was going to pull it off against the Steelers last week. And
Close.
That happened. The only thing that I have to say is I just hope that the Ravens come out the same way that they did in the last few weeks and actually play good football. Stop running these RPOs so much with Lamar Jackson and let this kid sit in the pocket and launch this ball that he has. Just let him do that. Allow your wide receivers to. You got a great wide receiver core there. Use them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go Baltimore.
I'm gonna go with Cincinnati.
Whoa, that's his upset pick of the week right there.
Very nice. I like it. Already getting controversial right off the get-go, folks.
I got a few upsets actually this week.
All right, so getting right into the next one, another playoff implications. Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Cleveland got struck by COVID. Ben Roethlisberger's not starting for Pittsburgh, but I'm taking Pittsburgh in the win. Mason Rudolph gets his revenge.
You know what? I said I wasn't going to go against the Steelers because of the highly different circumstances that the Browns is facing. But it's Mason Rudolph we're talking here. And if I know Mason Rudolph the way I know Mason Rudolph, is one thing starting to get, a little bit flustered. He crashes and burns. And I think that the Browns defense, the little defense that they do have, I think they can pull it off. So I'm gonna go with Cleveland. I'm gonna support Ohio as a state. This week.
Wow. Okay. I don't know. I thought there was question that the Browns would even show up for the game because they said that they didn't even want to play it. I guess whatever team they do field, I think I'm going to go with the Browns just because I don't trust Mason Rudolph, and I do not trust the play calling for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now to hand the ball off and run the ball, then pass it.
I agree, but
so here's some breaking news though.
Uh-oh.
So breaking news is that actually this week Jarvis Landry and Rashard Higgins has been activated from the COVID list.
Woo!
It's huge.
Browns gonna win. I'm already 2-0. I can feel
it.
All right. Moving right along here, We got Dallas and the Giants. I'm going to take the Giants defense.
I refuse.
No.
I refuse. I refuse to pick because regardless of what pick that I choose, if we lose,
win.
Whoever is the winner of the game goes in. And I refuse. I refuse to give a pick.
So he's going to take or. Okay, moving on. What did he
No,
take?
no, you have to because I have to pick an NFC West matchup later. So you have to take this.
Okay. All right. You know what?
Hey, I know you love
Don't
both
save
of these
this.
teams with all of your
don't
heart.
save this. Yeah, this is not for recorded purposes.
Oh, it is.
Okay. I'm
This is
gonna
breaking news. I'm going to have to tell Steve about this.
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Oh, I'm going to tell Austin.
I'm gonna go with the
I'm
Cowboys.
so totally
Here's-
talking to you about this for the next
Here's
week.
why. Here's why. I don't trust Daniel Jones at all.
I agree.
And as much as these Giants fans want to be so naive to believe that Daniel Jones can bounce back, I think that this is it for him.
Is it though? Is
Really?
It's just that they don't have any weapons. Evan Ingram isn't 100%. Golden Tate might not play. Sterling Shepard. He was listed. He had limited participation in practice this week. So I mean, I don't know. And Dallas just seems to now starting to click a little bit with Andy Dalton, and their defense has been showing up lately. And I think it's going to be a big problem for the Giants. So you know what? I'm going to go with Dallas.
That A word is why I'm taking the Giants. Andy Dalton.
I'm taking opposite of CJ, Giants.
The G-Man.
I was about to say, now both of us going for Dallas. That is something.
You almost had me. I'm not gonna. You almost had me. You were so convincing. I really just about switched. I mean, like
I almost
literally, there's like
I almost
a
altered my
mark to
pick.
kind of mark out the Giants. There's a mark in my G because I just about switched it to Cowboys. But yeah, it was close. But I'm not doing it.
So we gotta go to the next big game. We already know who the hog side's taking. The football team and the Eagles.
Oh,
I'm
no.
going with Washington. I'm going with Washington. Just hear me out on this one.
I took Washington, just saying.
Washington right now, they're hurting because of last week. And Chase Young, he's pissed. He had a great game, but wasn't able to pull off the win. But Alex Smith is slated to start Sunday.
It's close the books. That's all you had to say. Alex Smith starting. Washington gets the win. That's who I'm going with.
Okay. Moving right along here.
Oh, and the biggest thing is that Miles Sanders won't be in. Fletcher Cox won't be in.
I'm taking Washington for that. That's definitely
about 11 Eagles players has been listed as out come Sunday. So yeah,
So
there we go.
it's Washington versus the Beagles.
Yeah. Dallas Goedert is out. Deshaun Jackson is out. Miles Sanders is out. Jalen Hurts was a limited practice this week, but he's still the starter over Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Fletcher Cox is out. Alshon Jeffrey is listed as limited.
It's over.
While we have a moment here, we're talking about the Eagles real quick. Heard an interesting take this week. It's very possible that this may happen, and it's crazy because if this happens, I don't think this has ever happened in my lifetime. I was listening. I'm gonna go ahead and name drop, give him the prop for it because I heard it on his show. I was listening to Cowherd this week, and on his show, he had talked to an NFL executive about Carson Wentz signing basically a $20 million check to get his freedom from the Eagles, paying them, pretty much paying off the rest of his contract. Here you go, goodbye, and then he gets to go to Indianapolis.
He got it.
I think that's not far-fetched at all.
No.
But we've never heard of a player buying out their own contract just to go somewhere, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It'd be the first time I think it's happened in my lifetime as far as NFL player.
I've never heard of anything like that happening.
Well, you got to think it's only going to go back to 94-95 season because that's when the free agency started.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's never happened. And now here's the issue. I don't think Philadelphia is going to allow it or accept that check. Why? Because they're going to trade him. They're going to get value from him. If they just allow him to buy the contract out, then who's going to really look like the stupid ones?
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
Philadelphia
They already
is
look
sitting
stupid.
there.
The
Right.
question is, who's actually going to trade anything worthy for Carson Wentz?
Indianapolis.
There's there's multiple teams right now that could take Carson Wentz and plug him in, and he could actually be able to work within their offense. He just can't work with inside this offense because the locker room is just past it. The locker room is just over.
I hear Al in the room. Woo,
Yeah.
woo.
I'm telling you, there's plenty of teams. It's just like, I mean, people say Matthew Stafford is still a top-notch quarterback, but
Oh yeah.
he's going to be traded for, and most likely the Lions are going to receive possibly a second, maybe a first-round pick for Matthew Stafford. Like, that's just crazy to think about the prospect.
I'll take a Matthew Stafford over Carson Wentz any day.
No.
Right. The Matthew Stafford now, unfortunately, no. If it was Matthew Stafford maybe like 3-4 seasons ago, yes.
Yes.
So, moving right along here, I kind of know, I'm pretty sure I know where Albatross is going to be. Green Bay, Chicago. I'm going to take Chicago because,
Yeah, I'm taking Chicago. David
They've just been
Bakhtiari's
rolling.
out.
yep, Bakhtiari's out.
Yeah.
And the Bears just been rolling lately. They've been finding ways to put up points. Let's hope that Trubisky doesn't roll out to his right.
Yeah,
and
that
just
pretty
throw up,
much sold me to go with Chicago. I mean,
Right.
Bakhtiari's out.
Let's just hope that Trubisky doesn't roll out to his right like he did last week in Jacksonville and just throw the ball up in the end zone and throw points away. Because that will make you lose, and I'll just be like, you're stupid like I thought you were at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Be smart, take care of the ball, maintain points. Chicago's win.
I'm going to go definitely against the Packers every time. Mortal enemies, can't stand them. Bears are going to win this because they finally have listened to some SNS podcasts. They listened to Albatross. And when Albatross said, sit down, Nick Foles, put Trubisky back in, run the ball, hand it off to frickin' Montgomery, who really, let's be honest, has been the key to this whole car.
100%.
You feed him the ball, this kid runs. Oh, wait, he was from Iowa State. I know who he is. He's a good running back.
Homer.
You're darn right, every day of my life. He's a good running back. You give him the lanes, he's going to take care of business. That opens the field for one of the best rookies who had, a couple weeks ago I checked, he had the only player in the NFL had 70-plus targets, no drops. Mooney is going to be a future star there. If they don't get Allen Robinson back, which is a possibility. This is the last year on his contract. But I think he'll want to go back. That wide receiver room is a good place right now in Chicago, and that's crazy to say about any Chicago team.
I agree. So it looks like we're all unanimous on Washington and unanimous on Chicago.
Nice.
Tennessee at Houston. I'm taking Tennessee. Then this kind of goes with one of my picks later. I'm taking Tennessee to win this game, lock up the division, and set up a wild card weekend matchup with, that's right, folks, the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, no. I'm going to go with the Titans.
Did they already clinch?
No, they have to win this to win their division.
Yep. If they lose and the Colts win, the Colts are in. If the Tennessee Titans win, they're in.
Yep. I'm going with the Titans, and here's why. The past, I believe, 2 games that Derrick Henry has rushed against the Texans, he only rushes for 200 yards. Like, only. I mean, just a small game. And he needs 228 yards to become only the 8th player in NFL history to have 2,000 rushing yards in a single season. He's going to go out here. He's going to punch this Texans team right in the mouth, and they're going to go home like they always do, and the Titans are going to go on to probably play the Miami Dolphins.
I got the Titans too.
Oh, another unanimous vote. I like it.
The last 2 games, Henry has 211 yards last year, 212 yards this year in week 6. That's just crazy.
That's nuts.
His average
So-
against the Texans is 200 yards.
It's gross.
Woo!
All right, so we're gonna go to that AFC. Oh my lord, that NFC West matchup: Rams Cardinals. As much as it pains me to say this, because I just don't think he's as great as everyone says. I'm gonna take the Cardinals. I just think that the Rams have just been playing terrible football.
I don't know. I don't even want to pick none of these teams, and it's because both of them are just terrible right now. They're playing terrible football. Both.
I agree.
And but if I had to choose anybody, you know what? I've been against them this whole season, but I'm going to put my faith in Mr. Goff. I got Jared Goff winning this one. Jared Goff gonna have 300 yards this game. I'm calling it. Rams winning this one by 2 touchdowns.
I'm going to go and say this. There's a guy who's sitting. Let me get my pin direction right here. Okay, he's right here. And he did a film breakdown on another network. We're not going to talk about him. We're not going to go there. But on another place. And he said that if you push Kyler Murray to roll right, that you had a chance to beat him. And he used, obviously, the game against the Dolphins, and people gave criticism because he thought they were only talking about the Dolphins. So here's my issue about this. Let's go, and people are now going to say that it's only the 49ers because I'm a homer, but that's okay. Watch the game tape against the 49ers and the Cardinals. And what did Robert Saleh do to Kyler Murray and got to him?
Made him roll to the right. We blitzed him from the left and only the left. The Rams are one thing. They're smart. They have the talent still healthy on their defense. The Rams are going to make this kid roll to the right. He's going to make a mistake. And if he makes his mistake towards Ramsey, and Ramsey's going to make him pay for it, you roll wrong way, Aaron Donald's going to be there. Orlando Floyd.
If C.J. Beathard can throw for 2 touchdowns and almost 300 yards against this Cardinals team, I think Jared Goff can take care of business. But don't get me wrong, Jeff Wilson, $182 on the ground, helps a lot for C.J. Beathard's game. I think if they come out here, you run this ball against this Arizona Cardinal defense that's just kind of beat down. They just kind of look demoralized a little bit. I think they're just the Rams are going to come out and take care of business. I love to see it. I mean, I don't like either team, but I'm going to go Rams on that, I guess.
I like it. I totally agree, except for I have to take Arizona. I think Kyler's going to figure it out, and he's going to find a way to win. For whatever reason, this Rams team, you think they're getting it together. You think they're going good, and they lose to the Jets. You think they're doing good. And they fall flat.
I know, but it has to be non-divisional people. And let's give credit where credit's due. The players on the Jets team have been playing at a higher level. The players, I'm not saying coaches. The players have been coming out and playing hard. Obviously, a lot of them are looking for contracts, so they're kind of showing it off. But still, I think we can't not give credit to the Jets. The Jets have just been playing hard football lately.
The
Rams, I'm telling you, this is the Rams and the Cardinals. Me being a Niner fan, I kind of understand how these guys really work. The Rams are going to come out here, and I'm telling you, they have the defense to take care and put Kyler Murray. Let him run for 75, 90 yards. That's okay. As long as he doesn't make the play to DeAndre Hopkins. Jason Verrett breaks up multiple passes in that game to Hopkins. Holds Hopkins to under, 50 yards? I think he only had 45 yards.
Yeah.
Possibly best receiver in the league against Verrett, who no one gives any credit to. He holds him apart. If Ramsey plays anything like Ramsey can, you stop the connection between Hopkins and Murray, roll him to the right, you beat the Cardinals.
I agree, 100%. So, Last one here in the quick picks of the week, my friends. We all know what it is. I mean, come on. Miami traveling to Buffalo.
Homer.
So
We're
I'm
all
going to
pretty
start.
hungry.
I'm going to let you guys go because I want the last word on this one.
Oh, wow. All right, I'll go first because I'll drop the mic now. All right, so I think. Oh, man. I don't even know where to go with this one. This is going to be a good game just for the simple fact that the Bills want to hold their number 2 seed. The Bills are where the Dolphins are going to be next year. The Bills are primed this year to take that true shot. But I think Tua and the Dolphins are going to play at a little bit higher level. And I think they're going to pull out, squeak him. They're going to squeak this victory out by like a field goal. It's going to be a good game.
That's what I call
Dolphins are going to ensure their way into the playoffs. I'm going with the Fins.
So let me ask this.
Ask me.
Don't you think that, the Washington Eagles game should be a pick of the week as well? Just saying, this is a very highly anticipated game. It is the game of the games this week, but we're going back to the Miami and Buffalo, okay? We're going back to the Miami and Buffalo. I see your face, but we're going back to Miami, Buffalo. You know what? I love Miami. I love everything that Miami has done this season.
But
there's no but.
Oh, okay. I heard that butt coming. I had to just know
that. Brian Flores has done a tremendous job.
Coach of the year.
But there's the
Bless you.
There's the but. Here's the but. But can this offense beat this Buffalo defense? That is the question.
Right.
That is the question. And it really depends on the running game. If you guys look at it, you guys have actually had a decent running game.
Mm-hmm.
Your offense flourish. Your offense flourish. And it feeds into the RPO with Tua, and Tua does great things. But when you have Tua throw 30 times in a game, the offense doesn't look good, and your defense has to bail you out.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, can this offense go? We already know what Miami defense can do. I think this defense is going to give Josh Allen the same problems as they have been getting before their 2 or 3 game stretch.
100%.
And I think that this defense is going to be a big problem for Josh Allen. Now, the offensive side with Miami, I think they can pull it off. And it's hard for me to pick this game because, like you said, Albatross, it's going to be a great game. This is going to be a game within the books.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that is a division game, this is the game to take it all.
Yep.
Division, playoff spot, everything, you name it.
Yep.
This is the game to do it. And the question is, which team can pull it off better? So here's my pick. I'm going Miami.
Oh,
I have one question. Is Glassleg Parker playing?
Hasn't been told yet. He's been practicing all week.
Parker.
I'm getting there. Don't ruin my points.
See, I told you I wanted to drop the mic.
Here we go. Here's my hidden points. We'll start with where you're at. Parker. This is what people forget. He hasn't played the last 2 games. Those are the last 2 games that Tua offensively has kind of struggled. You take away the big play wide receiver, it hurts. It hurts a rookie to not be able to have that guy to just throw the ball to. Fitz has shown him. Parker's came to him. Throw me the ball. I'll go get it. He's not out there. It's hard for him to trust these guys getting a little bit of separation instead of being fully wide open to throw the ball to. I get it. He doesn't want to make the mistake. I like that. I'm going to sit here all day and preach to every single one of you. If Tua wants to sit back there and not make the mistake and not throw the ball and turn it over and throw interceptions, I'm all for it, dude. Take care of the ball. Let this defense do their job. This defense is great at taking away, stopping people on 3rd down, scoring defense, top 10 in sacks. They know how to do the right things to win. But in the weeks past, they haven't been able to take those turnovers and turn them into points. Like Howard said, when we get takeaways, we need to score touchdowns. If we get an interception, we need to take it to the house. We need some big plays tomorrow. I hope that Jerome Baker continues his ascendance. He's really stepped it up these last couple of weeks. Dude has 100-plus tackles this season again. He's just all over the place. I want to see Baker shadow Josh Allen tomorrow. Whenever they come and we play this team, Josh Allen always finds a way to scramble out of the pocket and make plays, and that's what ultimately decides the game. Have Baker shadow him tomorrow. Take that away. Take away the run game. Force Allen to make these throws. Cole Beasley isn't playing. So then Stefan Diggs.
Out too.
Stefan Diggs, are you sure you're going to beat Xavier Howard one-on-one? Because I don't think it's going to happen.
That'll be a matchup to see.
Here's where I'm at. Based on these injuries, based on that, no Cole Beasley. Potentially we're going to have Parker. And, oh, yeah, hidden stat. Are you ready for this? Myles Gaskin, whenever he has played for Miami and been the starter, they're 5-0. Myles Gaskin starts tomorrow. Miami goes into Buffalo in the cold, in the snow, and we convincingly win this game to start our postseason push.
So let me ask this. God forbid it to happen. God forbid it to happen. If Tua goes down.
Oh, God. Don't be cursing us.
Does Lynn Bowden gets the
No.
snap?
No, because they have we have Tua, Reed Sinnett, and Jake Rudock. We have like 3 quarterbacks going into tomorrow's game.
Okay. That's what I wanted to ask. I wasn't sure.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And really, I mean, we'll transition this right into the matchups of the week. One of them was the Miami Buffalo, and that's kind of where I was at. I think they're going to go in there. This defense, we've lost to Buffalo, I'm pretty sure 3 straight games, dating back to last season. They swept us last year. They beat us the first game of the season. This team's tired of it. They're done getting bullied and pushed around by this Buffalo team. Tomorrow's going to be the difference. I think you're going to see Howard come out, get maybe 1-2 picks, get that double-digit interception total, really push himself up there with Donald for Defensive Player of the Year. And again, I think Tua's going to have one of the best games of his young career tomorrow. I think this dude's going to go out there, throw for 250, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. We're going to run the ball with Gaskin. Gaskin's going to have 150 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. Miami's going to take care of business. They're going to show people why they deserve to be in the playoffs, hands down. And again, set up that wild card weekend. Miami traveling to Tennessee, where Ryan Tannehill's career will come full circle, and he will play his old team in the wild card.
Woo! Woo.
So,
in other news,
well, go ahead. Sorry.
Jay Gruden will actually be the head coach for the Jaguars game as the interim head coach.
So you're telling me they're going to lose? Is what you're saying?
Most likely.
So, obviously, the other 2 games we want to talk about, Green Bay, Chicago, Tennessee, Houston. I think this Green Bay game could be interesting, but based on how Chicago's throwing up points, obviously, Green Bay loses Bakhtiari. That's huge. That's going to hurt that line. But I think we might see a shootout tomorrow. The way Aaron Rodgers and that offense has been playing, Davante Adams, Davante Adams, no one wants to talk about the guy. Everyone wants to talk about, Hopkins and Thomas and blah, blah, blah. I think Davante Adams needs to be in the discussion for one of the best wide receivers in the league. The dude's just playing out of his mind this year. He puts someone on him. He makes him look foolish. He gets the job done. Especially in the snow last week. The dude really took the game over in the snow last week. Props to the guy. You're taking care of it in the elements.
It's actually snowing right now as we speak in Chicago. So, so just make note of it that, the field, might be a little bit nasty. You're going to see a lot of snow on that field. It's snow going to be clear, but you're going to see snow on the field.
Yep.
It's going to be a little icy. It's going to be a little bit sleety. So, It's going to be a game to look at.
Pretty grindy game.
Grindy game. It's gonna come down to the running game.
Agreed. Which, I mean, kind of goes into our next point. Tennessee, Houston. All about that run game. I think Derrick Henry is going to run for 200 again, like he has in the last 2 games against Houston. I think he gets that. I hope, and I think he's going to get that 2,000 in a season tomorrow. I really like the kid. He's an Alabama guy, whatever. Can't really stand Alabama, but I like how he's blossomed his career in the NFL. Like, first coming out, people thought that he couldn't do it. He couldn't be the guy. And now he is, picking up cornerbacks, throwing them 5 yards.
Yeah, when he got drafted, nobody, everybody's ready to write off Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's but that's what happens when you go to a team that's still in the midst of rebuilding your franchise. And, Derrick Henry, he waited patiently. He didn't ask for a trade. He waited patiently and invested in Mike Vrabel's culture. And you see that now, where they've just been blossoming. They almost knocked off the Super Bowl champs last year, and hopefully they can look to do it this year as well.
Holy smokes. Breaking news. This is a 1 of 3. Players out Sunday include Tyreek Hill, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Sammy Watkins, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, Joey Bosa, Dalvin Cook, Kenny Golladay, Damian Harris, Frank Gore, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Cole Beasley, DJ Chark, James Robinson, Julio Jones, Devin White, Shaq Barrett.
All do
They're all not playing tomorrow.
for COVID or
Just not playing.
wow.
Tyreek Hill is out on a hamstring. Sammy Watkins out on the calf.
That is here we go. Out Sunday, another Jared Goff, Darrell Henderson, Cooper Kupp, Christian Kirk, Tyler Kroft, Carlos Hyde, Joe Hayden, Eric Ebron, Cam Hayward, Marquise Pouncey, TJ Watt, Chris Boswell, Denzel Ward, Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray, Christian McCaffrey, Mike Davis.
Wow.
That's a good product for the NFL to put out.
Hang on, there's more coming. Hang on. I'm just going to wait for it to pop, and then I'll share that next list because that's a lot of star talent sitting out tomorrow. That's just wow.
Preseason.
Well, most of these guys already clinched the division. No,
That's like half of the freaking offensive starters for Pittsburgh in the 2 lists right there.
Yep.
Like
So-
line player, like offensive linemen, playmakers, like all of it.
yeah, I'm glad Terry McLaurin name wasn't on there.
Well, not yet. There's another page coming out. So as soon as the other page comes out, I'll go ahead and read that off. And
He's questionable. I think he's going to play, but it's still going to be some.
just as long as
high ankle sprain.
the glass leg doesn't pop up. Oh, here it is. 3 of 3. David Bakhtiari, which we talked about. KJ Hamler, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Richard Sherman, Thomas
Damn.
Davis, Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox, Dallas Goedert, Deshaun Jackson, Jordan Mailata, Duke Riley, and Miles Sanders.
I told you guys, didn't I say that? I told you guys.
That's nuts. Again, that's a lot of star power
And
missing from
you know what?
teams.
It sucks because, now this is something that we got to live with where, in the first game, they lost a lot of their starters.
Mm-hmm.
And now in this game, they're also going to lose a lot of their starters.
Well, that's on them.
So, I mean, yeah, I just hate that when the win feels so good, but it's so tainted.
A win's a win. It's not your organization's fault if the other organization doesn't want to show up.
True.
That's how I see it.
It'd be great if they just don't show up and just give us the win, and win the division.
Hey, that's what I was hoping for the Bills tomorrow, but that doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
That's the hoping for the Browns.
Right. So, since you're back, let's get into the bird's nest. So, obviously, all those injuries, great weekend of football. I want to take the bird's nest a moment here. CJ, you're always, for the most part,
The
you
hog spin.
you're good. You're good to us. You show up, you give us your time. You're a busy guy. I'm with you over there on the PSN side also. So
This
I want
pig
to
has wings.
I wanted to give you a moment here, kind of give you the spotlight for a minute. Tell us about the Hog Side and what you do every week.
So, the Hog Side is a podcast strictly going towards the Washington football team. We give hard hitting updates, news, and we give recaps of the previous week and what to look for in the next matchup. And me and my co-host Brian, we've done a very good job with launching this podcast and just making sure we stay on top and just making the fans feel welcome on having to watch something that just not just the everyday Haskins where we actually give
100%.
good updates and things like that. But next week is actually our season finale. Is our season finale. So this will be the last episode going into the year. And it was a good run. 16 episodes. It was great, man. And I can't thank nobody more than the fans who interact and tune in every week, So if you guys are watching this, thank you guys. You guys can actually find us on Twitter and on Facebook at the Hog Side. That is HOGSIDE. And like I said, it's on Twitter as well at the Hog Side. You can definitely follow us there. We are live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central.
Most definitely. Yeah, I've tuned in a couple of times, and I enjoy what you put out there. I like how you're team specific. I think as Saturday Night Sports grows, I think we're going to start to see some of the same things. I think we're going to have a potential, breaking San Francisco podcast coming out soon per Albatross.
I think we're going to call it the flyby. I think so far is what we're going by with that.
9 at the Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we got things going. So we really want to be. I don't want to be that guy that's going to turn down any opportunities for anybody. I think everything is relevant when it comes to people's opinions. When you have people who put in the time and you put in the work, then you're relevant. You give your all. You're going to be that person. I'll give you the time of day. That's who I am. That's who we are here at Saturday Night Sports, and that's who we're going to strive to be. We're never going to tell anybody that they can't be something great, and we're never going to tell nobody that you can't succeed, because you can succeed with the hard work you put in. So that's just where I'm at for this issue of Saturday Night Sports and the Bird's Nest.
Yeah. I think it's going to be fun going forward. We're going to stay active. I want to continue to stay active through the off season. Obviously, we have plenty of material to talk about the NFL in the off season. It's going to be a very interesting off season. We got some MLB, we got some NHL, NBA. So we have a lot of fun things coming up. I think it's just good to get in here, talk about some sports, and listen to what you guys have to say about your homer teams.
I just want to mainly say, again, thank you guys for actually giving me the opportunity to come on here, every Saturday and welcoming me with open arms. Me and you, Condor, we done met earlier this year.
Yep.
And we became the best of buddies. And then I met this guy here in the Bulls hoodie. It's been great. It's been 2020 has been a great year despite the trials and tribulations that COVID-19 has forced upon us. But it's been great, man. And now I'm starting to open up a new chapter with one-on-one interviews with draft prospects.
Mm-hmm.
I have
a big step, man.
Yeah, man. I have a few different guys lined up, for gridiron interviews. So I'm very excited, and definitely, want you guys to tune in soon. It's very hard hitting stuff. Like, these guys are small school guys, who just looking to share their story, and this is where I come in at.
Heck yeah. That's what you got to do. Again, everyone's looking for that opportunity, and if they give it to you, run with it. I love it. So yeah, guys, we we appreciate everyone tuning in. We appreciate you guys' time every Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Moving forward, we might potentially look to maybe change the time, but as of right now, this works for us. It's good. We like it. It
You're
works
cutting
for
into my
everyone's
bad time.
schedule.
Oh.
Right. we just have a good time, and it's really enjoyable. So again, we thank everyone for their time. If you guys have any feedback, please let us know moving forward, and we'll see you guys next Saturday.